Commanders fans, and happy Friday. As you guys know, I always make these videos, free agent videos, quarterback videos. I'm going to make a tight end video. This year, I don't have to make a free agent wide receiver video, but it's going to be quarterback. This one, of course, quarterback, tight end. And then I'll probably have to make free agent offensive lineman as well. Probably a free agent cornerback video and probably a free agent linebacker video. Those are our biggest needs. Offensive line, quarterback, obviously. But I want to stick with Sam Howell. I've been, thinking, I really made up my decision last week. But when we do cut Carson Wentz, if we possibly cut Logan Thomas, let go of J.D. McKissick, it should free up some space, some cap space. I know we got to sign Daron Payne, but when you cut Carson Wentz, that should free up some cap space for the Washington Commanders. And I really want to attack the offensive line. I don't want to be cheap like Ron was last year with the offensive line. If we do roll with Sam Howell, I want him to go big and sign some legitimate free agents at the offensive line spot. People make fun of the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence of the free agent moves that they made last year. They went out and got Christian Kirk. They went out and paid Brandon Sheriff, who we let go. But look at them now. They're in the playoffs. So if we do sign expensive free agents, I don't want them to be at the end of their careers like, Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith, Jason Taylor, like back in the day. I want us to make actual good moves for young guys, 25 years old, 26 years old, a guard for one, maybe even a left tackle, or just draft another left tackle. We need both guard spots, in my opinion. I like Chris Paul, but, I'm going to stay on track with the quarterback video. But I do want to get into some news about Jim Caldwell as well. But before we do get into that, this episode, shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. Super easy to sign up. You get a 100% deposit match if you use my promo code REALEDOLIVER. Click on the link down below in the description. So I'm going to give you guys my picks for this weekend for the playoffs. I'm going to go with two picks. The Vikings play the Giants. So I got Daniel Jones going over 238 passing yards. The last time he played the Vikings, he got like 300 yards passing. He crushed way over 238 passing yards. And then I have Justin Jefferson going over 91.5 receiving yards. Justin Jefferson. The Giants secondary, we saw what John Dotson did to their secondary. We saw what Terry McLaurin did to the Giants secondary. They can't really guard anybody. Their best corner really is Fabian Moreau. I'm not sure if they're getting Adoree Jackson back, but even if he does come back, I don't see them keeping Justin Jefferson in check. And if the Vikings want to win this game, they're going to have to feed their best player in Justin Jefferson. So I see him getting at least 100 to 110 yards receiving. So those are my two picks. Download the app, Prize Picks. First-time users. You use my promo code, you get 100% deposit match. They match you up to $50, $25, whatever you put down. They'll match your deposit. Just use my promo code REALEDOLIVER for Prize Picks. Download the app. So those are my two easy picks. I'll probably give you guys some NBA picks as the year goes along each video as well. But Jim Caldwell. So the Commanders did reach out to Jim Caldwell. So this makes sense because I want to say Martin Mayhew and Jim Caldwell, they worked together with the Lions. Martin Mayhew was the GM of the Lions. Jim Caldwell was the coach of the Lions. He got fired from the Lions. If you guys don't, I know you guys remember, of course. I don't think he should have got fired because he actually had winning seasons with the Lions. He took the Lions to the playoffs. When's the last time the Lions went to the playoffs? It's been a very long time. Even before that, it's been a very long time. They haven't made it with Jared Goff. They didn't make it a lot with Matt Stafford. So anytime you make the playoffs with the Lions, you should hang on to that coach, in my opinion. He went 9-7 a couple times with the Lions. He went 11-5 with the Lions. And they should have beat the Cowboys that time, too. But they called a ridiculous pass interference that game when the Lions lost to the Cowboys, where I think Jerry just paid off the refs. That was where everybody said Jerry paid off the refs, where they called a pass interference on the Lions linebacker. And I thought Jim Caldwell did a good job as a coach. Now, he's 67 years old. He has not coached in 5 years or 6 years. He was the offensive coordinator with the Ravens when they won the Super Bowl in 2012 with Joe Flacco. Ray Rice, Ray Lewis, Jacoby Jones, Torrey Smith. They had a good team. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. But on the offensive side of the ball, Joe Flacco played his best football of his career in the playoffs. They had the Mile High Miracle. Jim Caldwell was the offensive coordinator for that team. He did coach Peyton Manning. He was the head coach of the Colts. They went 14-2 in 2009 under Jim Caldwell. 2010 they went 10-6. So, and then 2011 they went 2-14 when Peyton Manning got injured. So. Basically, this is the tweet from Mike Garafolo. He said the Commanders reached out to former Colts and Lions head coach Jim Caldwell about their vacant OC job, offensive coordinator job. Sources tell me and Rappaport. But he told them he's only pursuing head coaching opportunities. He's interviewed for 2 this cycle. So this could come back around. If he gets denied from every head coaching vacancy, he could definitely come back around and decide to come back to the Commanders if the OC job is still open here. It makes sense for the Commanders. You know, they're all old, elderly guys. They have that old school mentality of thinking. So Jim Caldwell would definitely fit in next to Ron Rivera, Martin Mayhew, and Marty Herney as well, and Jack Del Rio. They're just all old guys. I thought Jack Del Rio did a good job this year, though. Also, Aaron Rappaport said that would have been a rock star hire for the Commanders, but they joined a long list of teams that have tried to interview Jim Caldwell for OC. So I like Jim Caldwell, but he's an older guy. He's 3 years away from 70 years old. Like I said, I want to move to a young, innovative coach that has an innovative mind and innovative thinking. And I know they want to do a 2-to-1 run pass. So I think that's why they want to go with Jim Caldwell. But he did help Matt Stafford play well, and he did help develop Peyton Manning as well. So I think a lot of people are saying Jim Caldwell will be a bad hire or a disappointing hire. Actually disagree. I don't think it's the worst hire, to be honest with you, because of his track record. But he's been out of the league for 6 years, and the game has changed. The game has changed for sure. So those are my concerns with Jim Caldwell. So he basically denied the Commanders. But we'll see if the head coach job, if the OC job is open a week or two from now, I can see them definitely circling back to Jim Caldwell. All right, let's get to the free agent quarterback list here. We're going to make this real quick here. So Lamar Jackson, a lot of people in fantasy land have been thinking about Lamar Jackson or wanting him to come here. I highly doubt he comes here. I think he's going to be franchise tagged by the Ravens. He's a great quarterback. Say what you want about him. He can run. He can pass. All that. Is he injury prone? I'm not going to put that on him yet, but it's 2 years in a row where he's missed time with injuries, and he's going to miss. He's not even going to play in the playoffs on Sunday or Saturday whenever they play. Because of a PCL sprain. So that is the concern. If he does come here, of course, you have to change your offense. You have to tailor your offense to Lamar Jackson and his strengths and you're going to have to pay him. You're going to pay him a lot of money. I know he wants, it was like 40, 50 million or something like that. I got to look at the quarterback contracts, but I know he wants to get paid for sure. There is rumors about Greg Roman being fired from the Ravens. Maybe you could bring Greg Roman to DC. Somebody else put that rumor out there as well. Now, Lamar, he has subtly complained about Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator, and his teammates have complained about Greg Roman as an offensive coordinator. I remember Hollywood Brown, before he was traded, he said, why do you have soldiers when you don't use them? Talking about Greg Roman and his offense. So, but Greg Roman has tailored to running quarterbacks. He's done a good job with making offenses, RPOs, run design runs, all kinds of stuff like that for running for dual threat mobile quarterbacks. So, Lamar Jackson, he's not coming here. Tom Brady, of course, he's not coming here. We can just knock some guys off the list. Tom Brady's a free agent. Tom Brady's 45 years old. That's crazy, but he's still a hell of a quarterback. 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. I do have them beating the Cowboys on Monday night. But if Tom Brady's available, I personally would not take him. I mean, he's a free agent, so you know what? I wouldn't mind him for 1 year. But it's just, once again, going with an older guy at the tail end of his career. It's kind of like a Michael Jordan to the Wizards kind of thing. But when you have Tom Brady, you're going to make the playoffs. Like, automatically, you know you're going to get at least 9 wins with Tom Brady. But you have to shore up this offensive line with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's only making $15 million. That's a really, really good deal for Tom Brady. So if he comes here and makes 15 compared to what Carson Wentz was making, like $28 million, or to Derek Carr, who's going to be making $40 million, and you have some wiggle room in free agency, Tom Brady's not bad, but we all know that's not realistic at all. Next on the list is Baker Mayfield. I would not take Baker Mayfield, but he did play better with the Rams. I'll say that. He was awful with the Panthers, but he did not play good football with the he did not play good football with the Panthers, but he was solid with the Rams. He beat the Raiders on was a Thursday Night Football. He beat the Broncos. He was a good game manager. He had a game winning drive too. So I was intrigued by Baker Mayfield, but not at all. He was bad with the Browns towards the end of the year, so it just would not work here. And then, there are some character concerns, just attitude problems with Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold is a no for me. Jimmy G is somebody who I do think that Ron Rivera likes a lot. And that's the guy who I really bet money on making it to being signed by the Commanders. He's a free agent. He's making $7 million right now. I don't see him getting more than like 15 mil. Looking at his market value right now, I know some teams are going to, his market value is $34.9 million on Spot Rack. I would never pay Jimmy G that amount of money. I know Taylor Heineke's Spot Rack value as well as like 16 to 20 million or something like that. Jimmy G, if they want to do this two-to-run pass philosophy, Jimmy G makes sense being a game manager. If the defense can play like they did last year, you got weapons. You can run the football with Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. It makes sense. You don't have to trade for Jimmy G. So you know what? I know a lot of people don't want Jimmy G, but I wouldn't 100% be against it. I would understand the move they brought Jimmy G in. But can he play well without Kyle Shanahan, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle? Can he play well on a different team? That's the biggest question mark for Jimmy G. But he is a winner. He is. Teddy Bridgewater, backup. Wouldn't mind him to be a backup and compete with Sam Howell. Would just be a good backup for him, to be honest with you. Daniel Jones is a free agent. I don't see New York already said they're going to try to resign him. Case Keenum, no. Mason Rudolph, no. Jacoby Brissett is intriguing. 12 touchdowns, 6 picks this year. Maybe a guy to back up Sam Howell and just compete with him. I wouldn't be mad at Jacoby Brissett. He's making $4 million, so if you bring him in, it'd probably be like $4 million, $3 million, something like that. Geno Smith, he had a great year this year, man. He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. He made the Pro Bowl this year. I don't see the Seahawks letting him go. I don't see them letting him leave. His average projected salary is $39 million, basically $40 million. I would not be surprised if he got that, to be honest with you. He had a good year this year. Joe Flacco's a free agent. No, I wouldn't even bring him as a backup. Andy Dalton is a free agent. 18 touchdowns, 9 picks. He actually wasn't bad this year with the Saints. You saw, Chris Olave is probably going to win Rookie of the Year. The guy who was throwing him the football was, guess who? Andy Dalton. So Andy Dalton would not be a bad backup to Sam Howell. I wouldn't mind him as a backup. He's making $3 million per year. I wouldn't mind that at all. Mike White, no, for the Jets. He actually had some good moments this year coming in for Zach Wilson, but I would pass on him. C.J. Beathard, pass. Kyle Allen, the former Commander, pass. Taylor Heineke, wouldn't mind bringing him back as a backup for Sam Howell. Lamar Jackson, I already talked about him. Blaine Gabbert, pass. Chase Daniel, pass. Chad Henne, pass. Nick Mullins, pass. Drew Lock, pass. Brandon Allen, pass. Josh Johnson, the former Commander, pass. Nate Sudfeld, pass. The former Washington football player as well. Nathan Peterman, pass. Jeff Driscoll, pass. Cooper Rush, who beat us pretty badly, the backup for Dak. I would pass on him as well. Brett Ripien, Mark Ripien's nephew, pass. Tyler Huntley is a restricted free agent for the Ravens. I don't see the Ravens letting him walk. John Wolford, pass. PJ Walker, pass. Trace McSorley, pass. I wouldn't mind him on a practice squad. Jarrett Stidham, pass. Bryce Perkins, pass. Easton Stick, pass. Gardner Minshew is intriguing as a backup. He's intriguing as a backup. I thought he's done a good job in this league. He's had some moments in the NFL. He had a good game against the Cowboys with the Eagles, and he had a bad game with the Saints. So Gardner Minshew is a little intriguing as a backup. $677,721 this year with the Eagles is Jalen Hurts backup. He's not a bad backup. He's similar to Taylor Heineke in a sense. But I wouldn't mind Gardner as a backup to Sam Howell. I really wouldn't mind that at all. I wouldn't. Minshew Mania. He's had some crazy games. He has. He had a good year. His rookie year with the Jags was pretty darn good. It was intriguing. It really was. So let's finish up with Derek Carr here. He's not a free agent, so you would have to trade for Derek Carr. But just looking at his contract too, and look, I was on the Derek Carr bandwagon last year. I'm not gonna lie. I really wanted Derek Carr to come here. I thought he would be a good quarterback. I thought he had a solid career with the Raiders. I thought he had a good year with the Raiders last year. A lot of guys got hurt this year, and then the whole thing with John Gruden being fired, and they made the playoffs. He was able to will that team through all the adversity. The Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett, being released because he was toting guns. All their first round picks have been flops. J.J. Abrams, the safety, got released. The Raiders have not helped Derek Carr at all. They really haven't. That's the argument for Derek Carr. First round picks, the ownership craziness over there, the head coach being fired. It's just been so much turmoil with the Raiders. It's almost been as bad as it's been over here with just the drama and everything that's going on with Derek Carr. And he's been able to weather the storm. He got the best out of Nelson Aguilar. He's gotten the best out of Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. I think Derek Carr's had a good career. He really has. And you could argue that Carson Wentz had a good career. He had a good career with the Eagles. He was an MVP candidate at one time. But I'm tired of the retreads. I can't do it anymore. And I can't keep seeing this team trade picks for quarterbacks where it didn't work out somewhere else. Why are we always the team where we think it doesn't work somewhere else, but it's going to work out here? Carson Wentz on 3 teams in 3 years. Fitzpatrick on 10 teams in 10 years. Why are we always the team? Rex Grossman, Donovan McNabb, where they let him go. So we're always the team is getting somebody else's scraps and a retread quarterback. I think it's time to take the slow approach with developing Sam Howell and see what we got in a young guy. I really want to use this money in free agency on the offensive line. I want to spend a lot of money on this offensive line. I don't care. I want to spend a lot of money on this offensive line and drafting offensive linemen, guards, another center possibly, because I just can't trust Trace Rouye to stay healthy. But Derek Carr, man, he's had a decorated career. Game-winning drives, fourth quarter comebacks. I don't have the numbers, but it was a lot. I brought it up last year. And he wasn't able to really perform and win games with Devontae Adams. So their defense with the Raiders has been bad as well. He would come to a team with a better defense, a better run game. Actually, Josh Jacobs was good. But he would come to a team with a better defense. He would have 3 legitimate receivers in Terry, Jahan, and Curtis Samuel. We got to get another tight end too. I want to upgrade at the tight end position as well. But I would pass on Derek Carr. looking at his contract, 2023 he's going to make $32 million. He's going to make $41 million in 2024, $41 million in 2025. So if we trade for him, that's what we're going to have to take on. And we barely made moves with Carson Wentz's contract, and it was $10 million less than what Derek Carr's making. So I already know that Ron Rivera is not going to maneuver the cap and Martin Mayhew. They're not going to make moves if they get Derek Carr. They're going to act like they have no money and penny pinch again with the offensive line and make these minor moves and set Derek Carr up for failure. So I would pass on Derek Carr. I just can't do the retread route again. I do see Derek Carr going to the Jets and having a good year, though. I do see that. I can see that happening. Ryan Tannehill is a guy to look at as well as a trade candidate. I would not make that move at all. Aaron Rodgers is not coming here either. So you can put that to bed. Rumors like that. You can put stuff like that to bed. So if it were up to me, I would keep Sam Howell. I would be like the Eagles and try to make a dream team approach and just build the team around. And look, I know Sam Howell's not a franchise quarterback just yet. We don't know that after one game. But I want to build this roster and build this offensive line. Get a tight end, get some offensive linemen in here, get another corner or draft another corner. I think it's a good roster. We do have some needs for sure. But I think if we go cost-effective at the quarterback, develop Sam Howell, get a real offensive coordinator in here, tailor to Sam Howell's strengths, let him be a dual-threat quarterback, some RPOs, design runs, and things like that, I think we can have a good year next year. And even if it's not a playoff year, I would rather see that than rather seeing us not make the playoffs and go 7-10 or 8-9 or 8-1 with Derek Carr and paying him a whole bunch of money. I'd rather do the Sam Howell route than that, to be honest with you, and see what we got in a young guy and possibly draft another quarterback. So, all right, you guys, let me know what you guys think. If there's any other quarterbacks on this list that you want to see or see the Commanders sign, or rather just go with Sam Howell, you guys can comment below and let me know. All right, you guys, I'll take Commanders. Peace.